The road to the borderlands used to be a merchant's pride. Now it is a graveyard of broken axles and abandoned wagons. As you travelled toward the seat of Lord Halbrecht Vane, the signs were impossible to ignore. You passed through hamlets where the windows weren't just shuttered, but nailed closed with iron-reinforced planks. You saw the look in the eyes of the common folk, a 1,000-yard stare directed toward the jagged silhouette of the ruined hill fort on the horizon. The birds have stopped singing in the Ashford woods, and the wind carries a faint, acrid scent of sulphur and wet fur that seems to stick to the back of your throats. You've heard the whispers in the taprooms of the last few inns. They don't call it the Warrens anymore. To the survivors of the recent raids, it has earned a grimmer moniker: the Game of Death. Last night you watched a farmer weep as he described shapes that moved like men but barked like dogs, dragging his livestock and his youngest son into the dark breach of the hill. The local militia is broken, their spirits dissolved by horrors they weren't trained to fight. That is why you are here. Whether you seek the redemption of a land in rot, the cold weight of the gold promised by a desperate lord, or simply the chance to test your steel against something that finally has a heartbeat, the path has led you to the iron-bound doors of Vane's Keep. The great hall is cold. The hearth fires offer light but no warmth. Lord Halbrecht waits for you, his hands stained with ink and his eyes marked by grief. He is a man who has run out of soldiers, run out of time, and is down to his last gamble. He looks at each of you, the only ones brave or foolish enough to answer. The game is about to begin. Lord Halbrecht Vane does not look like a man who sleeps. In the flickering light of his solar, his face is a map of exhaustion. He doesn't offer you wine or songs. He offers you a rusted key and a cold promise. The Ashfall Warrens were meant to be a tomb for our enemies, he rasps, his fingers trembling over a map of the ruined hill fort. But the seal has broken. Something has crawled up from the deep throat of the earth, and it is breathing down our necks. Clear the halls, slay the vermin. Whatever gold you pry from their cold fingers is yours. I want only the silence of the dead returned to that hill. You stand at the threshold of a choice, the safety of the firelight or the riches buried in the dark. The air in the entry hall is thick with the scent of old soot and desperation. Smashed barricades lie like broken bones across the floor, and the once proud weapon racks hold only splinters. A low, wheezing cackle echoes from the rafters. Goblins, their skin the colour of bruised plums, peel themselves from the shadows. Their leader, a scarred brute with a notched blade, points a shaking finger at your throats. Step carefully, adventurers. The dust on the floor hides more than just footprints. The final goblin falls with a wet thud, and the ringing in your ears fades to a dull throb. The hall is yours, though the shattered gates seem to groan in the draught. You find a few coins scattered in the filth, and the map scrap that suggests the path ahead only grows narrower. The first toll has been paid. Will you press on? The smell hits you first, the rank copper tang of old blood and wet fur. This was once the fort's kennel, but the iron rings now hold only the memory of captivity. From the darkness of the cages, yellow eyes ignite. A hobgoblin commander, standing tall and draped in a wolf pelt, lets out a sharp whistle. The shadows lunge. The beasts are hungry, and they don't care for the Lord's contract. The snarling stops. The wolves lie still, their breath steaming in the cold air. Among the gnawed bones, you find the spoils of the den, a garnet chip and a chain shirt still wet with grime. The vault is silent, but the stone walls here feel hollow. A loose stone pivots, revealing a cramped cell thick with dust. This was the kennelmaster's private sanctuary. Amidst the rot of an old locker, you find a silver whistle and a journal detailing the things that began to crawl up from the lower levels. A warning from the dead, wrapped in silk. You step into a place that was once holy, now merely hollow. Ash drifts from the ceiling like grey snow, though there is no fire to be found. A cult fanatic stands before a cracked idol, his eyes wide and vacant. "The ash welcomes you!" he shrieks, as giant rats with weeping sores skitter from the rubble. Raise your shields. The air itself is beginning to choke the light from your torches. The fanatic's prayers end in a gurgle. The ash settles over the bodies, masking the carnage in a shroud of grey. You retrieve a ritual dagger and a silver holy symbol, but the idol's cracked face seems to watch you with a new, hungry intensity. The deeper you go, the less the gods can hear you. The stairs lead down into a freezing black pool. The old barracks are half drowned, with rotting bed frames jutting from the water like the ribs of a shipwreck. A ripple disturbs the surface. Lizard folk, their scales glistening like wet obsidian, rise silently from the murk. Their shaman raises a bone staff, and the water begins to churn with unnatural malice. Watch your footing. The floor is as treacherous as the blades. The water stills, stained a dark, blooming crimson. You wade through the submerged debris, pulling a pearl and a waterproof satchel from a hidden locker. Your boots are heavy, and the cold has seeped into your marrow. The exit is behind you. The abyss is ahead. A sharp, acrid sting fills your lungs, sulphur. The floor is carpeted in black powder from burst barrels. Tiny winged mephits made of cooling magma dance near the ceiling, their giggles sounding like breaking glass. A kobold inventor cackles from behind a barricade, a sputtering fuse in his hand. One stray spark, and this room becomes your funeral pyre. Fight with precision, or end in flame. The smoke clears slowly, revealing a room miraculously still intact. You find alchemist's fire and a pouch of stones amidst the scorched wreckage. The heat lingers, a reminder of how close you came to the end. Behind a scorched barrel, a narrow slit in the masonry leads to a hidden alcove. It smells of expensive tobacco and old iron. A single chest sits in the center, trapped but overflowing with the illicit wealth of the fort's old deserters. A thief's hoard, earned in the dark. The transition is sudden. The worked stone gives way to a massive circular cistern. But there is no water here. Only a sea of bleached ivory. Thousands of bones form a shifting skeletal shore. Aghast, its skin a pallid, translucent blue, rises from the pile. Its stench is a physical blow, a rot that penetrates even the stoutest heart. The dead are tired of being stepped on. They are rising to claim their own. The skeletons shatter back into silence. You stand amidst the fragments, your breath coming in ragged gasps. You recover a +1 weapon from the pile, a relic of a hero who didn't make it this far. You are deeper than any have gone in a generation. The descent becomes a furnace. The walls bleed molten orange, and the floor is webbed with glowing fissures. A barbed devil, wreathed in smoke and spite, stands over a forge that beats like a heart. Beside it, Azers made of living brass raise their hammers in a rhythmic, terrifying toll. This is no longer a dungeon. It is a workshop of the hells. Stand firm, or be unmade. The devil dissolves into a pool of stinking ichor, and the forge's glow dims to a sullen red. You claim an infernal ingot and a ruby the size of a fist. The heat has blistered your skin, and your armor feels like a cage. Only one door remains. The throne awaits. The final chamber is a cathedral of rot. Giant battle banners hang like flayed skin above a throne of obsidian. An Oni, towering and terrible, watches you with a predator's patience. So, it booms, its voice vibrating in your very teeth. Halbrecht sent more sheep to the shearer. Come then, let us see if your courage is as bright as the gold you seek. Behind him, 2 armored berserkers move to block the light. This is the end of the game. The Oni falls, its massive form crashing into the fungal floor. The banners stop swaying. The oppressive weight that has sat on your chest since the first gate suddenly lifts. You stand amidst the treasure of the deep, platinum bars, enchanted cloaks, and the deed to the fort itself. The Ashfall Warrens have been silenced. You are the masters of the deep. Behind the throne, a seam in the stone yields to a final golden light. A single magnificent coffer sits on a pedestal, but as you reach for the handle, the wood ripples. Teeth sprout from the lid. A final cruel joke from a dungeon that hates to lose. One last fight for the ultimate prize. The climb back is long, but the air grows sweeter with every step. When you finally emerge from the broken mouth of the fort, the sun is rising over the valley. Lord Halbrecht waits at the base of the hill, surrounded by his guard. He looks at your bloodied faces, then at the heavy packs slung over your shoulders. He bows his head in honor of your deeds. "You have done the impossible," he whispers. "The Warrens are quiet. The road is open. Take your gold, take your glory. You have earned every drop of blood it cost you." You leave the Ashfall Warrens behind, but the darkness of that place stays with you.